Catching Up on the Drift, Part 2, Remembering 9/11. Remember the people who lost their lives or were left maimed and injured on 9/11. Remember the people who lost family and friends. Remember the millions dead, maimed or displaced through the resulting war on terror. Remember how the perpetrators had no cares for the people as innocents doomed to suffer on behalf of whom? Those who remember in grief and despair are forced to witness the stealth progression from then to now. From point A to E, the plot has thickened, and the tides of the political seas are delivering their worst onto the shores of human consciousness. Death and destruction, fraud and theft, lies, jealousy and greed. Such are the fruits of austerity and terrorism, the stuff that profits are made on, the stuff of power, to play with life like a drunken gamble of all or nothing on a game of chess because, hey, what's life really worth anyway if you can't win? No one wins in the black and white wars, because evil is both dark and light, as is good. It is clear that a war in black and white is evil because they cancel out the rainbow reality. Truth is buried in the lie that one side of the monochrome war is good and the other is bad. It is clear that a united good, black and white, is good because there a rainbow can shine. It is clear that everyone alive in this amazing universe is a winner. People who did 9/11 believe only they have a right to judge who is a winner. Most of us, they judge loser because most of us have a heart, a handicap, a burden of compassion that slows us down in the usurer competitions. The money's on the judges' favourites, the ones with least compassion or the least grasp on reality. The official and media stance on 9/11 is that it was a terrorist act committed by terrorist Muslims operating from their headquarters in the mountain caves of Afghanistan. The evidence, facts and testimony, i.e. truth, explains that 9/11 was an event organised probably 2 years in advance. It was not organised by Muslim terrorists but instead by members of USA government, military, intelligence and finance, many of whom are dual Israeli US citizens as well as people of Christian, Muslim and no faith. Al-Qaeda did not profit from 9/11. Muslims have not benefited from 9/11. The only people who have benefited from events of 9/11 and the resulting war against terror are the terrorists and their bankers. Terrorist leaders need followers, money and weapons. Terrorists with no money, followers or weapons are usually busy oppressing, hurting and killing their partners, children, family, friends and members of the general public. They're in jail or else receiving some form of psychiatric assistance. Terrorists come in every shape and form of human. They are found in every human society, faith, politic and culture. Some terrorists are intellectually dull and some are academically successful. Some are rich, some are poor, and some are driven to terrorism after suffering decades of terrorism against themselves and their families. In which case they are not true terrorists, they are radicalised freedom fighters, left enraged and with seemingly no choice other than to try and fight a fire with fire, which, as we know, is always to risk making things worse. All terrorists have a cause of self-help to satisfy either altruistic or selfish desires, or a cause to satisfy a hunger for power on strength of an ideology, i.e. Christians were once terrorised most of the Middle East on behalf of Jesus. The ideology of terrorists is not an ideology, because anything that needs to be established through terror is not an ideal, and will leave in its wake a damaged and depressed populace who are then even more primed towards raising more terrorist psychologies. People like Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. did not promote non-violence because they are cowards, or because they lack empathy and do not deeply loathe the impacts of crime and criminals, but because their natural universal intelligence has enlightened their thoughts, with the correct and most truthful understanding that while it may be necessary to bend the rules now and again in favour of a more positive outcome, the reality is that serious crime will rarely defeat serious crime. According to universal law, violence needs always to be a very last resort as the only way to defeat and or survive a direct attack against our lawful rights. An intelligent species has other methods of resolving disputes than physical violence. Intelligence is our strongest tool, and that tool is most powerful when it is aligned with universal law. Knowledge of universal law equals intellectual strength. Universal law requires us to seek intelligent and compassionate ways toward addressing not the fictional battles created by lies, but through accepting the truth that there is a war going on. It is the one the media spotlight ignores. It is a spiritual battle against humanity, and its common tools of oppression are ignorance, degradation, ridicule, confusion and scorn, cast against any who dare speak truth or try to live compassionately. The news media shows us a few hundred Pakistani men burning a USA flag. It totally neglects to show us thousands of Israelis marching against the Zionist so-called military actions in Palestine. Terrorists will claim to be serving a greater good. They attach their cause to a religion or political rhetoric and infect minds with twisted truths, or else they uphold particular truths for both a distraction and a display of honesty, while they deliver ever more lies and commit even greater crimes.